and this drawing as well. This is my favorite, one of my favorite drawings of all time. And her face is wonky. This is how to draw. I think he was doing like concept art, and he did it in marker, but I was so glad to learn like how he was doing it, how to get the perspective right, how to get the horizon line right and everything. And then there's like smoke in the background. You just have the smoke the smoke trails to make sure that people know where the sky is. And then this is kind of like he kept saying derelict structure, but a lot of stuff I learned is like how to darken the lines, because you want to show where the end of the bottom of the structure is. And then you look right here, you have like dunes of sand, and then in the distance you have like these pipes, the pipes over here. And this kind of is going inward like this. He actually shows you how to do the perspective. You have a big ellipse, big circle, and then you have a bunch of mini circles, and then you're duplicating the circles, and you're trying to see how far in it goes. I actually need to learn this again, but I really love what I learned from it, because like this is just using pen. Everything I do is using pen, and just look how real it looks. Like that looks like a derelict structure. It's very cool. But all this stuff, I put it all together. And one of the first things I've ever done, I actually think I did this before. I think I did this while I was learning his technique, and I wasn't that good yet. And this right here, I've been drawing Lamborghinis over and over, and then I finally drew one from memory, and I was so proud of this. I showed my friend, and then I drew it again, and it didn't look as good. But this, I was so proud of it when I first drew it. And then I'll show you. This is the cream of the crop. I showed it before in the beginning of the video. It says right here, Scott Robertson X squared duplication technique, and this is, so I did that stuff with Scott Robertson. I mean, I was learning from his videos in July. This is in August 13th. And a reference was used, but no ruler was used. And you guys can see that there's a square here, and then there's an X across the entire thing. And then using the X, I was able to find the midpoint, and now I was actually able to draw the line above the midpoint, because I found the midpoint. You draw the line above the midpoint, and you have to make everything go along with it, and that's your new midpoint. And this is really complicated, and it's not perfect. You guys can see that it's a little bit wonky, but this is a robertson, and I draw this a lot. I draw everything robertson. And I guess I'm just not going to show you guys those, because those are really messed up. And man, I'm just going to say this straight up. This is an incorrect picture, an incorrect drawing of Lamborghini. But you have no idea how proud I was of drawing this. This was August 14th. Drawing without looking at a reference, but I drew this 2 minutes after drawing the reference above. I drew this, and this actually took 2 hours. It was from 5 o'clock to 6:59, and I drew it, and I was so proud of it. I can actually tell that there's a mistake. Like this thing should be like this kind of. This thing should be, I don't know how that should be, but this one I remember that this is not slanted enough. It should be actually over here. And there should be another window, and this thing is actually pretty solid right here. It's very funny because I memorized this. This thing is wrong right here. This should be down that way, and this thing should be pointed a little bit more like that. And I can probably draw this without looking. I might draw it just like in the next video maybe, or in a couple of videos after this, just to recall everything. So this one right here is another one, and this isn't as good as the one I showed you before, but this is also 2 days after. I didn't look at the reference at all, and it just says in the morning at 5:47 a.m. and I don't remember how long I took to do it. I was so sad because I don't remember. And there's still mistakes here. Like this thing is huge, and then like the wheel looks like it's slanted this way first of all, and this other wheel is a little bit too small. And if it should be smaller, then this actually should curve inward like that, using perspective. I'm still learning all this stuff, but this is August 16th, and this one right here was sorry, this one right here was August 13th, 3 days before. And I continue. This is bad. It actually looks like one of the concept cars, but I continue to keep doing this, and I actually stopped doing this, but I wanted to continue. There's more. I wanted to continue making making a bunch of Lamborghinis, and trying to just memorize the proportions of the Lamborghini Rembrant. And I think one day I'm just gonna print it out, trace over it, and then memorize the proportions, and then that way I can tell where the midpoint is, and that way I can learn the car just from using the techniques, and then maybe using the X duplication technique on the car's trace. And you know, because I'm a tracer, blah blah blah, so funny. And just like trying to learn, and I'm just trying to learn the proportions of cars using my favorite car, which is a Rembrant. And you guys can see, so that way you guys have both. And yeah, that's the end of the video. I guess I could do something like this, where it's both, or maybe like this, where it's both of them together. Or, actually, I just realized I could do this much better like this. Just make them as close as possible. So yeah, that's Scott Robertson's technique. Now I'm just learning from him. I start using duplication, and I start using it all over the notebooks and stuff like that. I really don't care about censoring or editing this stuff, because I'm just learning how to do stuff. And a lot of people are gonna be like, hey, don't you want to get views? Like, what if you're boring people? I'm like, I need to learn how to do art. Shut up. I've been trying to do this for years, and I quit doing art because somebody said my art was terrible. And then I quit because I thought I would never get better. And my friend told me, he's like, you know, you can keep learning art and you can always improve. And I was like, no way, are you serious? And I looked up tutorials online, and I found Scott Robertson after years. I think it was like 3 years. And I finally found him. I didn't even know. I was so glad Ahmed Adouri talked about him, because I wouldn't have known him otherwise. But yeah, that's right now, that's the cream of the crop of my drawings and stuff like that. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Whatever, I'll see you guys.